Welcome to English 2450, COM 2010, Week 4, lecture video number 1 on lighting the basics. Remember that this is part of our unit on visual design. So in this video, I'll talk a little bit about how lighting is an important piece of visual design, about how lighting is a good bridge between visual design and cinematography, and how it's important to understand both lighting and shadow as important components of visual design. The next video in the series, I'll be talking about the 4 major features of lighting, which are quality, direction, source, and color. And for the final video of this week, I'll be talking about important lighting styles. So, let's start off with a quote from Film Art, which is a textbook on film. In cinema, lighting is more than just illumination that permits us to see the action. Lighter and darker areas within the frame help create the overall composition of each shot and thus guide our attention to certain objects and actions. So lighting isn't just what permits us to see the action, it also draws our attention. An important thing about this quote is that it shows how important lighting is to both composition and mise-en-scene. Now, as a quick reminder, mise-en-scene is putting into the scene. It includes things like costumes, hairstyles, makeup, setting, props, acting, motion, staging are all included within mise-en-scene. Composition is more specifically the balance and organization of all of those elements within the frame. So composition isn't just what kind of hairstyle or costume or setting there is within the frame, but how are those things arranged near each other? How are they arranged within the frame? How are they organized? And lighting is important for both of those things, right? It helps compose the shot in areas of light, areas of darkness, and it also helps draw our attention to different parts of the mise-en-scene. And of course, if we're going to talk about the importance of light, we also need to think about the importance of shadows, the absence of light. And in film, there are 2 different types of shadows, attached and cast. Attached shadows are also referred to as shading, and those occur when the light doesn't illuminate part of an object because of that object's shape or surface features or texture. And cast shadows occur when an object blocks the light, which projects a shadow onto the surface behind the object. So I have 2 examples here in Week 4 images, clips, and links. The first image is from the film Apocalypse Now. This is the actor Marlon Brando, and we can see that the lighting in this shot is coming from this direction, but parts of his face and body are obscured because of the concave and convex features of his face. So the lighting is blocked based on the shape of the object, and these are attached shadows. They are attached to the thing that is being lit. Now this is different from a cast shadow, which is shown here in this still from the film Nosferatu, in which there is an object that is between the lighting source, which we can assume is over here somewhere, and the background, which is this wall, and the light cannot pass through this object, therefore it creates a cast shadow. So the object in question is the creature Nosferatu and the banister of the staircase, and they're blocking the light, thus creating this cast shadow. So it's important, obviously, when we're talking about lighting to recognize that we're not just focused on the light, the quality of the light, the color of the light, the source of the light, but we also have to think about the absence of light. Why is a shadow placed in a specific area? How is the shot composed with different light and dark areas? And why might a shadow obscuring a specific thing be there in terms of how it enhances the visual design, creates a certain mood, or gives us something to think about as the audience. Now, the last thing to think about when we're talking about the basics of lighting is that lighting serves as a really nice bridge between 2 units in our class. The first unit being visual design, which is what we're talking about this week and last week, and the other unit being cinematography, which we're going to be talking about next week. Now, the reason why lighting serves really nicely as a bridge between these two things is because, like I said, lighting is really important to the overall visual design of a film. It can kind of make or break whether or not an audience responds to a film by directing our attention to certain things, by obscuring certain things. And it's very important to the kind of overall visual design of a film. However, lighting is also really important when it comes to cinematography. And cinematography is more specifically the type of camera, film stock that's being used, where the camera is positioned, whether it's stationary or it's moving. And obviously, the cinematographer or the director of photography, DP, has to work very closely with the gaffers and electricians to make sure that the lighting rigs are set up where they need to be, that they're able to, correctly light or obscure or darken different parts of the mise-en-scene. So this is really a nice way to tie together these different ideas. Lighting is absolutely critical to what the cinematographer does, but it's also absolutely critical to what the production designer does as well. So it serves as a nice bridge between these two different ideas. Just keep that in mind as we move forward when we start talking about cinematography, the art of kind of painting with light, as some call it. So continue thinking about lighting as we move forward into our discussions of the camera more specifically in the next couple of weeks.